The 1990s. High tops, boy bands, and of course, iconic films. Welcome to WatchMojo UK, and today we'll be counting down our picks for the top 10 British movies of the 90s. Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. For this list, we are taking into consideration features that were very well received upon release and still resonate today, and that featured either a British director or a largely British cast. Number 10, Shakespeare in Love.
Romeo, Romeo, a young man of Verona.
Following the early days of the famous bard and his pre-balding days, Shakespeare in Love centres around the playwright's search for a muse. In steps Viola, initially disguised as a man, in order to get cast in one of Shakespeare's productions. However, Viola is soon rumbled by William, and before long they start a love affair that goes on to inspire Romeo and Juliet.
Two households, both alike in dignity.
The critically lauded film won numerous Academy Awards, including Best Picture and Best Director, and was widely admired.
What of Lord Wessex?
For one kiss, I would defy 1,000 Wessexes.
Number 9, Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels.
Tom, what have you been eating?
I've been telling him this.
Enough already!
In what is now a Guy Ritchie signature movie, this memorable feature-length debut introduced two former pro sportsmen in Vinnie Jones and Jason Statham to the big screen. After a group of mates rack up huge debts with the sort of people you wouldn't want to be in debt to, it leads them to rob a gang who just so happen to live next door, with hilarious and unexpected consequences on screen.
You get those guns, because if you don't...
Oh yeah, Buzzard, oh what?
Off-screen, it's a heist-cum-caper classic that grossed over $28 million US, which is all the more impressive when you consider its budget was under $1.5 million.
He'll care, all right. That was supposed to be his money.
Number 8, In the Name of the Father.
That's when I started the rob. The proof that I was no good.
Starring method actor extraordinaire Daniel Day-Lewis as Jerry Conlon, this biographical courtroom and prison drama tells the story of the four men falsely convicted of the 1974 Guildford pub bombings. Emma Thompson brilliantly portrays Gareth Pierce, the Englishwoman who fought against their conviction, a conviction which also saw Conlon's father, played by the late Pete Postlethwaite, imprisoned.
I want you to have some respect.
My respect for who?
For yourself.
Despite a few controversies upon its release in terms of real-life accuracy, the film went on to win awards around the world for its heartfelt depiction.
I'm gonna shoot you, Sandy.
Number 7, Howard's End.
Are you offended?
How could I be?
The stalwart Emma Thompson again appears on our list, this time winning an Oscar for her role in this E.M. Forster adaptation. Touching on similar themes and subject matter as the later Sense and Sensibility, the film is centred around encounters between differing social classes in Victorian England.
We'll give you a decent lunch after you've had a good look at Howard's End.
Oh, I can hardly wait to see it, although I almost feel I have.
The film more than lived up to the expectations set by the masterpiece source material, winning 2 Academy Awards, 2 BAFTAs and a Golden Globe, among other awards in 1992. Not only this, but some of the most high-profile film critics helped to heap the praise upon it.
If you'll pardon me, miss, you took my umbrella.
Number 6, The Madness of King George.
Must! Must? Whose must is this? Your must or my must?
Part biographical, part drama, part comedy, and fully fantastic, Nicholas Hytner's historical feature-length picture made film history of its own. Displaying screenwriter Alan Bennett's typical wit, the film follows the deteriorating mental health of King George III, who by the time of his death had been deemed permanently insane, and the resulting power struggle in British Parliament. It is brilliantly acted by the late Sir Nigel Hawthorne of Yes Minister fame, and the always impeccable Dame Helen Mirren, and earned bags full of accolades including an Oscar, BAFTAs, and numerous critic and magazine awards.
Good evening, Mrs. King.
Good evening, Mr. King.
Number 5, The Remains of the Day.
I'm sorry, sir, but I'm unable to be of assistance in this matter.
A film that once again shows how British talent can truly bring book adaptations to life, The Remains of the Day is considered by some to be among the greatest British films of any decade. Anthony Hopkins, in a role that is a far cry from Hannibal Lecter, plays the former butler to the deceased and disgraced Lord Darlington.
A man cannot call himself well contented until he has done all he can to be of service to his employer.
Alongside him is, unsurprisingly, Emma Thompson as Miss Kenton, Lord Darlington's housekeeper. However, much of the story is shown through flashbacks that show Kenton's developing feelings for the butler, with their respective duties getting in the way.
I'm placing my thoughts elsewhere while you chatter away.
Then why is that guilty smile still on your face?
Number 4, Secrets and Lies.
I'm trying to locate a Cynthia Purley.
This film about a successful black woman discovering her birth mother is an underprivileged white woman did extremely well with critics, netting BAFTAs, a Golden Globe, and a host of other critical prizes. Director Mike Leigh made this movie with a ton of improvisation, and he reportedly met with each actor before filming to tell them only what their characters would know at the start.
I mean, I can't be your mother, can I?
Why not?
Well, look at me.
The secrets and surprises throughout were sometimes as new to the actors at the time of filming as they were to the audience. The 90s were a good decade for Leigh, who was also highly praised in 1991 for Life is Sweet.
Not again, it's boring.
Well, I'm not doing it then.
Well, don't do it.
Number 3, The Full Monty.
It's worth a thought though, isn't it?
It's hard to think of the 1990s and not have this Robert Carlyle outing spring to mind. After losing their jobs at the local steelworks in Sheffield, a group of pals who are down on their luck need money fast. What better way to raise funds by taking your clothes off in front of a room full of screaming women? Answer: no better way. Also bringing in elements of class, male mental health, sexuality and family, there really is more than meets the eye to this movie.
So your daddy dances in front of you, does he?
When is rehearsing?
Number 2, 4 Weddings and a Funeral.
You like this girl, don't you?
Although the title leaves nothing to the imagination, this romantic comedy captured the hearts of filmgoers around the world. Boasting a stellar cast including Rowan Atkinson and an overly charming Hugh Grant, it set the tone for many rom-coms to come, such as Notting Hill, a film which has just as much apologising and quirky British swearing.
I'm so sorry.
Both funny and tragic, this movie reaped Oscar, BAFTA and Golden Globe awards during the mid-90s, winning in such categories as comedy, acting and screenwriting, and will forever keep its place in people's hearts.
That was very romantic.
Well, I thought it over a lot, you know, I wanted to get it just right.
Before we get to our top pick, here are a few honourable mentions.
There. Where you live?
I do.
James? For England.
For England, Alec.
So, would you describe yourself as a happy little person?
I was right about you.
Don't be so sure.
What do you know?
Well, I've been practicing Rodrigo's Concerto d'Aranjuez.
You are.
Number 1, Trainspotting.
Certainly a phenomenon in all walks of life.
What do you mean?
From the fantastic directorial mind of Danny Boyle, king of great 90s films, comes our number 1 pick. After his successful feature-length debut in 1994 with Shallow Grave, it was clear to see that Boyle was a visionary, and his follow-up didn't disappoint. Here, Renton, part of a group of heroin users, wants to get clean after one last hit, but everyone's struggles and demons take the movie to very dark, but sometimes very humorous places.
What's wrong, boy? Can't got your tongue.
As well as a memorable soundtrack, Iggy Pop, We're Looking at You, its popularity even eventually led to a long-awaited sequel in 2017.
So what you been up to for 20 years?
Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other great clips from WatchMojo UK and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.